Hello. Welcome to episode 27 of the Productive Wellbeing Show with me, your host for today's session, Abigail Barnes. I am so excited. It is just you and me today. So as you are joining me, let me know where you are joining from. Let me know how you're doing as sort of our session, our time together progresses. Let me know any questions that you've got in the comments. And I'm just so excited that we can have a conversation today about using your time most productively during the lockdown and beyond. And today I'm going to share 5 things with you, but this is just us. We're having a conversation, and let's make it as interactive as possible to max out the time. So let me know how you're doing, where you're joining from, what the weather is like. Where are you in London? Is absolutely amazing today. I mean, I know we're in lockdown, and I know that life is far from what we know and what we want, but at least we've got the sunshine. And that's my thing. I love the sunshine. I really do. So today, these 5 things that I'm talking about are also taken from my new book. So everything that I'm sharing with you is kind of like behind the scenes things of what is to come in the book, which I'll be launching next month. Super excited about that. Title is still kind of a work in progress, but I hope in the next few days or the next few episodes to be able to share with you the cover of the book, which would be so exciting. And sort of a little bit more about it. But hi, Charlotte. It's sunny in West Sussex. That is awesome. Right, so as I said, 5 things that are going to really help you using your time most productively. So the first one, attention management. Now, there are no prizes for being right. There are no prizes. There are no sort of degrees with the benefit of hindsight. You are not going to get a pat on the back for knowing everything there is to know about what's going on in the world and with the virus right now. So observe the news, see what's relevant to you, but then switch it off, because where your attention goes, your energy flows, and it's going to start affecting your mental sort of sanity, your ability to remain productive on work. It's going to affect the kinds of conversations that you're having with people, and it's also going to start to impact your focus, because funnily enough, like what we see, we don't really realize. Our subconscious mind is taking it in all of the time. So even though we think nothing is happening from what we're reading, where we're going, what we're looking at, it actually is having an impact. And I've started to notice myself that there's certain things and little sneaky habits that I have sort of been allowing myself to do, and it has affected my own productivity and my own ability to focus on stuff. So I would say things like, put your phone down, notice when you're picking up your phone. And I'm going to share, if you are a member of my LinkedIn group, the 888 community, I'm going to share later some apps. There's 2 apps that I've been trying out to help with focus, and they are so awesome. One of them is free, one of them is paid, so you can decide whatever you want. But these apps really help you to kind of develop the ability to leave your phone and focus on what it is that you need to do. So this whole thing around attention management is really, the rule of attention is, does what you're looking at make you feel happy? Does it make you feel upbeat? Because when you feel happy and upbeat, it does have an impact on your productivity. If what you're looking at is just information, but when you come away, you don't feel happier, like even if it's a movie that you're watching or a box set or something, and you don't feel happier after it, just start to pay attention to how you feel, because how you feel will have an impact on what happens going forward and what happens in work and what happens with your productivity, etc., etc. So that's the first thing, attention management. Where attention goes, energy flows. The second thing is scheduling, and I mean scheduling everything. Now, I have never been a person that has enjoyed scheduling everything, not since I worked in the corporate world. And it's really funny. I was having a conversation with somebody in a group the other day where they were saying that they had sort of done this corporate to own business transition. And it's quite a common thing. And maybe if you're watching and you have your own business, you might sort of understand this. Let me know in the comments if it resonates. But we can do this thing where we just don't want to do any of what we know. It's almost like a rebellion. And suddenly there's I don't want to do it. And it can impact then your ability to be as productive as you can be, to do the things that you have spent years learning. But when you actually schedule things, it gives you an ability to clear your brain out of all the stuff it was trying to automatically remember for you. So the schedule allows you to then have more space to be able to prioritize the schedule and reprioritize the schedule. With scheduling, I really want to encourage you to adopt this strategy of looking at everything that you have to get done and asking, do I need to do you? And being really brutal, like, do I need to do you? Are you going to add value? Almost making these things on your schedule justify themselves. Because what you will start to understand, the more we have conversations and the more we hang out, is I look at time from the point of view of what else could I have done with that time? What else could I have done with my time, with my life? How could it have been different if I had done X rather than Y? Now, I'm not necessarily talking about how are you maximizing your time during lockdown and what degrees have you done and what cupboards have you cleared out, etc., etc. I'm talking about how are you feeling on a day-to-day basis, because all of these things that we're doing are outcomes. So having a tidier house, a tidier space, a tidier flat, being able to manage your time better, being able to get more things done, they're outcomes. And they're outcomes because why? Because we want to be able to spend more time with our friends, our family, our loved ones, with ourselves and with our hobbies. And at the moment, I totally understand that time with most of these people is online, but we're all in that same boat. But going forward, and this is where these 5 tips are going to help you to maximize your time right now, but are going to become a foundation that you can then go on to use after lockdown, because there is no point in learning time management strategies that are just only applicable to right now. I want to teach you things and share things with you that you can use on an ongoing basis. So schedule everything. And I know it's horrible, I understand it, but literally once I started to do this, things have started to change. And this is one of my mentors who just really held my feet to the fire and said, Abigail, you have to do this. Like, there is no more excuses. Just get on with it. Just do it. So what do I mean by scheduling? Just to sort of give you an example in case you're like, I don't really know. From scheduling everything, I put in what time I'm getting up in the morning. So I like to do a morning walk. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see me sort of taking photos on my morning walk. So I do a morning walk, and in my diary, I've called it morning walk and meditation. Because meditating in the morning is something that I am always, is front of mind, is something that I want to do. It's not something I necessarily do, but in some ways when I'm walking, I am being more mindful. I am meditating, and it might be that this is an easy way for you to get started with the meditating. So that's the first thing in my diary. Then the next thing is I am doing PE with Joe. So this is PE with Joe Wicks online, and I am finding that from an energy point of view, just knowing that 300,000 people around the world, if not more, are doing this at the same time is helping me to remain focused and active. So this is in my diary, and then obviously the show is in my diary, and then my meetings are in my diary, replying to emails are in so literally And it's my diary, right? So I can choose. So I don't feel overwhelmed by my own diary, because this is the thing I was saying about scheduling. You can start to then delete things, but you can't delete if there's nothing there. And it is really fun to delete stuff, just like it's fun to tick things off of your to-do list that have been hanging around for a while. It triggers a part of the brain that just gets excited, like the same part of the brain that gets excited when you get a text message, or somebody you like replies to something, or somebody you admire writes on one of your comments on Instagram or social media or something like that. So it's like a positive reward for yourself. But I highly encourage you to start thinking about this. I've even put in when my lunch is, so that I remind myself I need to take a lunch break. I then put in what time my dinner is, so that I remind myself. And it sounds silly that I have to remind myself, but I can get so caught up in things that I kind of forget. And I don't have children, so I don't have that routine. And so maybe you do. So maybe it's sort of relevant in a different way. So that's the second thing, schedule everything. Now, the third thing is energy management. I cannot stress this one enough. What is going on right now is a marathon. We are not in a sprint race. We are in week 5, if not week 6 or week 7 in different countries of lockdown. It is like a never-ending thing. We don't know when it's going to end. We don't know when it would come back again, etc., etc. So understanding that you manage your energy and how you manage your energy is going to be so important and so helpful from a productivity and a happiness point of view. Because if you're trying to do everything all in one day, all in 1 week, you're going to run out of motivation. You're going to run out of energy, enthusiasm. I heard, I think it was Jennifer Aniston in an interview where she said she realized in the lockdown that there were so many things that she could Marie Kondo in her place where she lives. I've no idea what it looks like, but anyway, but she had to start rationing it because she realized that she was going to run out of things to do. So this is a quality problem to have. And maybe you're like, I've got so many things I could do, but start to turn things into projects. And I'm calling them isolation projects. So things that I can do sort of quite quickly and get that instant feeling of, yeah, it looked bad, but now it looks good, to things that are going to take more time, understanding your energy and understanding that we've all got so many different types of energy going on right now with all of the other things involved in this current situation. Now, let's not underestimate, and I think what is starting to happen possibly for some people is because this is going on, we're getting almost blind to the fact that this is not an ideal situation, that there are many moving parts to it, that there are many people who are still struggling, suffering, not getting answers, family are unwell, might even be unwell themselves, possibly are furloughed, still possibly don't know what's going on, companies still pivoting. So it is not an ideal situation that we're in, and it is coming in wave after wave after wave after wave. So if we understand that we need to maintain our energy so that we're not sort of sprinting this marathon, I mean, this is going to go on for months, right? Not necessarily the lockdown as strict as it is, but like that change is going to go on for months, and that the repercussions of what is going on globally, locally, is going to be felt for a very, very long time. It's, it'll be something we'll talk about for years to come, but it's going to come in waves and waves and degrees of urgency, if you like. So remembering you manage your energy. Now, in relation to something that we teach in the business I run, which if you don't know me that well, I run a business called Success by Design Training. And so this show is kind of being brought to you by us, by myself, by the business. So we teach something called the 888 formula, which is here. So the 888 formula is a reminder for us that 3 times 8 is 24. This is our day. So our day, if we break it down into the 3 verticals that we have sort of come up with for the formula, which are dictated by science and society. So the first 8 being that we need to sleep. And science says that we, as an average human being, need between 7 and 9 hours sleep. This is what the body needs to repair itself, to regenerate at night time. And everybody's number is different. And there's about 3% of people in the population that can get by with less sleep than that. So if you're one of those people, that's amazing, but just understand that it isn't a high figure. How many hours do you need? Work it out based on how you feel. And this is a really good time to work out your sleep number, because never before have we not had to commute. Yesterday's guest always had to get up at 5:30 and now can get up at 6. Now that 30 minutes is really important when it comes to sleep. And if you want to know more about sleep, on our website, Success by Design Training, if you search across the top, we have an explanation about the 888 formula. And one of the tabs is sleep, and there is way more information about sleep. You can also calculate what your sleep number is there on the website. So that's Success by Design Training. But that's sort of a conversation for another day. But just be aware of the role that sleep plays in your energy. Because when you wake up in the morning, I don't know about you, but I tend to be full of energy. And if I'm not, I have to ask myself, what did I do the night before? What time did I go to bed? Was I looking at my phone? Did I watch a TV show? Or was I watching something that didn't make me feel good, didn't make me feel happy? What impacted my energy? Because your today starts yesterday. So, and that's a sort of a big thing about your routine. For what time do you need to go to bed? How many hours sleep do you need? And then how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Do you need an alarm? Do you wake up before the alarm? Such a huge conversation. But for the purpose of today, the third point then is energy management. Just remember this: energy management, marathon, not a sprint. Okay, fourth thing. This is something that we talk about in business and we talk about with our clients, and they call it moving the needle. What that actually means is, what activities do you need to do in your work and in your life that will have the greatest impact, that will bring the biggest value? So we are not machines, we are not automatons. We don't need to just do certain things. We need to understand that we have an innate ability to identify what is more important than something else, and to then discuss it within our teams, with our sort of our bosses, people that we work with. If it's your own business, to prioritize how you spend your time. Will this activity move the needle, and how will it move the needle? It kind of also, it comes down to, is it the best use of my time? And how do I feel after doing these activities? How is it impacting my life? How much money is it creating? Do I feel balanced based on how I'm spending my time? So this is really analysing every single thing. And this strategy can be applied to your work as well as to your life. Everything that I teach can be applied to your work and your life, because in essence, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And people don't really like to hear that. But if you procrastinate in your private life, you procrastinate in work. If you procrastinate in work, you procrastinate in your private life. If you cut corners in your private life, you are cutting corners in work. If you feel like a victim in your private life, you feel like a victim in work. And when you start to understand this, it really gives you the power back. And never have we had so much time to analyze ourselves, and not analyze ourselves from a place of, oh, I'm a terrible person, but analyzing ourselves from a place of awareness is the key to change. Nothing can change in your life, in your business, in your relationships, until you become aware of the habits and the patterns. Now, there is so many different parts connected to this conversation going off. Imagine like a mind map: habits, thoughts, actions, where it comes from in the brain, why it comes from certain places, why do we do what we do, how we do. It's a huge conversation. And there are many trainings that I've talked about this, especially the brain. If you're interested in why we do what we do, I would say check out the YouTube channel. If you search on YouTube, Abigail Barnes, There are loads of videos on there. Literally every training that we do, we try to keep to 20 minutes because no one's got time for long trainings. And also attention span means that you only need to take away 1 to 2 things from the training that you can apply to your life and to your business and to your career. And everything I teach is really to give you 1 or 2 things. So that's the 4th thing. What activities are moving the needle? Now, the 5th thing. We are humans. And humans need to have a life. So it is very important to be more productive in areas of work that you give yourself time for your own life. If you keep working, how we were, nothing is fun anymore. You're not going to want to do any things, and then it becomes a chore. So really understand that you control the hamster wheel. If you are finding yourself doing an 8 hours worth of work over 14-hour days, ask yourself, why are you doing that? Because none of us are in the office anymore. Nobody is watching us. There are no prizes for working longer, working later. I had a conversation with some people the other day who are in the 2 a.m. club. Now, maybe some of you have heard of the 5 a.m. club. These are the people who get up at 5 a.m. and say hi, they're up at 5 a.m. I'd never heard of the 2 a.m. club before. Maybe you have. Maybe it's just me. But also, I haven't heard of the 2 a.m. club because I don't want to be in the 2 a.m. club, because it turns out that the 2 a.m. club is full of people who are still awake at 2 a.m. And they're all saying hi. Now, if I'm awake at 2 a.m., it's because I've got work to do. I'm not saying hi. I don't want a badge. I don't want to be part of a club. It's not a badge of honor to be awake at 2 a.m. unless, I don't know, you're shift working or whatever. Call me old fashioned, but I want to be asleep at 2 a.m. So just start to become aware of the things that are around you. And this comes back to the first point of this attention management. You become what you surround yourself with, and what you surround yourself with enough becomes your beliefs, it becomes your habit, it becomes your way of living. Now, planning activities for after work or outside of work is part of the 888, and it will lead you to creating your own happy, healthy work-life balance. Now, when we talk about the 888 formula, just for those of you who are like, but my life doesn't fit into those numbers, the formula is a foundation and everybody's formula is different. So your formula doesn't need to be 888, but it does add up to 24 because we all have a 24-hour day. So I hope that today's 5 points have been useful for you and just given you food for thought. And as long as you go away with 1 or 2 things, aha moments from our conversation today, then that is awesome. But let me run through those 5 again, just in case you were joining late. So the first one was attention management. The second one is schedule everything. Third one is energy management. 4th one is moving the needle. And the 5th one is planning your life activities. So if you joined late, you can catch up on the replay. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the chat. Otherwise, it has been so awesome to hang out with you today. I love these one-to-one sessions. Tomorrow, we have got one of my mentors, and I'm super, super excited. And we are so fortunate to be able to have him because he's a global speaker. And so some of the people I'm able to bring to you are only because of the lockdown. Literally, he can't sort of do the talks that he was originally doing, so he's got a little bit more time. Now, he is the most amazing speaker I have ever seen, and also super brilliantly bright, intelligent guy as well, author, Sunday Times bestselling author, and global speaker. And his area of talking is all around thought expansion and innovation. And so he will be with us tomorrow at 11. His name is Jonathan MacDonald. for those of you who maybe have seen him, but I'm so excited to have Jonathan with us. If you've got any questions, you can always email me at hello@successbydesigntraining.com. If you have any questions after this training, leave it in the comments and I will get back to them. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow or on another training. This is episode 27, so we have now got a ton of them for you to go back and watch back over. But until tomorrow, stay safe, stay well, and don't forget to wash your hands.